We've got this from the 2/20/1989 Observer. The big media story in wrestling this week is that the ultimate kayfabe violation has taken place, courtesy of Titan Sports and Vince and Linda McMahon. Titan admitted that pro wrestling was fake and that the competitors do everything they can to avoid hurting one another in a New Jersey State Senate hearing on Thursday in hopes of getting pro wrestling taken away from the authority of the State Athletic Commission. And so state law would no longer mandate a doctor in attendance at ringside during pro wrestling exhibitions. Like, I understand that Vince is trying to conduct a business and avoid, fees and hassle where he can. But I mean, having a doctor at ringside seems like a pretty valuable thing in a sport like wrestling, doesn't it?
And I agree with you. It's like even though wrestling is sports entertainment, it's still sport, and you're still out there bouncing around a ring, and yes, you do get hurt, something, and a lot, but to me, it was kind of like I didn't really look at it as that big a deal, because the whole kayfabe thing, it's like, I would say this. I don't think anybody quit going to the wrestling matches because they found out that it wasn't real.
I agree. In wrestling, look, everybody nowadays knows that wrestling is a work, but it's more popular and making more money than it ever has.
And that's just it, but like sometimes, like with my father and Funk and Amarillo, they actually accidentally ran into each other in a restaurant in Amarillo with their wives and got into a fight. I mean, because the whole town know that Funk Senior and Iron Mike were at each other's throat, and all of a sudden they show up at the same restaurant, and they started fighting in there and went out on the street. And, it was kind of funny.
Boy, how pissed would the wives be? They're just trying to sit down and have some dinner.
That'll ruin your night, won't
it? Right, trying to just go out for a night.
But
Lord.
But yeah, I don't think that it really, because everybody, pretty much everybody, if you'd ever been in a real fight and you watch two guys wrestling, but by the same token, the guys like myself, I tried to make it as realistic as possible. So I tried not to do things that were just blatantly. It's kind of like I've seen guys grab, get somebody in the corner and beat them up, and then grab them by the hair and run them all the way across the ring and run their head in the turnbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in a real fight and somebody's beating up on you, do you think he could grab you by your hair and run you across the street into a lamppost?
Probably.
He might pull your hair out, but you ain't going. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
Things like that. But some, like I said, some of the greatest matches I've seen that were so realistic were with the greats. I mean, Dory Funk Jr. I always talk about this match. Dory Funk Jr. and Jack Briscoe.
Great one.
Oh my gosh. I mean, on the mat, in and out of, and so very real. I mean, I've been smart to the business since I was, 15 years old, and I'm standing on my feet during this match because, again, when you walk into a movie theater, it's a movie, but if the actors, what do the actors do? They draw you into the story you're telling.
Yep.
And they can make you laugh. They can make you cry. They can make you mad. They can make you sad. Same thing with wrestling, sports entertainment. But that's not to say that what we do and some of the things we do aren't dangerous, and the bumps we take are very real. I mean, yes, we're landing on a surface that is, like a good wrestling ring has just a little bit of bounce in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been, I've been bounced all over a ring, and I've taken slams on the concrete floor, things like that. But I mean, by and large, it's kind of like, don't write it off like, oh, that's just pro wrestling. Yeah, we've had guys that came out of the NFL. I thought that, well, I can't play football anymore, but I could be a wrestler. Well, a lot of those guys found out real quick, you know, they couldn't cut it.
There have been a lot of pro athletes that have tried wrestling and quit after the
Yeah,
first training session. So yep,
yeah, yeah.
it is not for everybody.
No,
And man, it's yeah, like look, the kayfabe violation by Vince, a pretty high profile one, but by the same token, he was also morphing it very clearly, morphing pro wrestling into entertainment, as you and I have discussed here
yeah.
before. So it's I don't think it's the end
And
of the world.
basically, what Vince was saying is, yes, we're sports entertainment. So what?
Mm-hmm.
We're good.
Yeah, you're entertained. So
Yeah,
and
yeah,
look, this is one of the hottest periods in wrestling history. You know, WrestleMania 5, the mega powers explode. So I don't think he heard anything.
yeah. And now I have to. I will say this: when I first heard it, I was kind of old school and like, why would you do that? But when I had time to think about it, it made all the sense in the world.
Hmm.
So